And it's time to officially kick off the on-site part, as you all have been coding for the last 2 weeks. I know it's been intense, but we are all keeping fingers crossed for you. So to officially kick things off, I know you're all busy as the submission deadline is approaching. We'll start with the opening words from the Circle team and from the LabLab and Natively team. So you can meet them, some of you in person, some of you online. Then I'll do the quick submissions workshop as at 6:30 p.m. ET. You'll need to submit your solutions. My recommendation is to start earlier rather than later, so you can all make it work. And yeah, later on, we'll have a small chat between Corey Cooper from the Circle team and Pavel Czech from the lablab and Natively team. So stay tuned. And it's time to welcome the first guest, Pavel Czech, CEO of Natively AI and co-founder of lablab.ai. Pavel, the stage is yours.
That's right. Hey guys, welcome to New York. Thank you very much for showing up this early on a Saturday. I know that a lot of you have been working for a few weeks now, so it's the final stretch. I see a lot of tired people, which is great to see actually for a hack. So joining a hackathon is always very difficult. It's a big commitment. Yeah, you have to commit your effort, your time. So I think if you already made it this far, you're already a winner. And you're in a very, very small group of people that, thanks to our great partners at Circle, have had access to Arc very early. And this gives you a tremendous advantage over billions of people in the world and hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people building with blockchain and AI today. So you're in an extremely unique position in this room and online to have access to experts from Circle. So you can chat to them over today and also online. This is a premier technology, right? So agent-to-agent payments and the ability to use a settlement layer for agent markets, yeah? So basically the communication between the buyer and the seller, and then seamless settlement, and all the opportunities that this creates for us globally, I think is extremely exciting. We are in New York, but this is a global phenomenon. So I think people watching us in Manila or in Jakarta, in Singapore and London, in Austin and in Warsaw, they are all now in a race to build the best settlement layer out there. Very few, again, have this level of super early access. So it takes a lot of guts and a lot of commitment to show up, and you did that, and now it's all about persistence. It's also completely fine to fail sometimes. It's very important to embrace the hacker culture, right? All of this Silicon Valley, all of this, constant success stories that you're hearing about, that's done through persistence and through the grind. Yeah, there's no other way around it. So it's okay to not, get things done all the way fully every single time, as long as you show up and come back. So that's very important for us. That's our culture. That's why we're not only doing one event in New York, but we're doing a series of them. So we're taking the show on the road. We're going to go Silicon Valley. We're going to go Europe, hopefully Asia, some other places. And Circle is already doing this globally. So we will support that mission globally. And that's why we are also encouraging everybody to do work online. So there's a lot of you that are working in hybrid teams. So some of you already have successful businesses. You're bringing people from all around the world, all around the US to join the teams. I think that's very powerful. We live in a very decentralized society today. And to finish off, I just want to say that thank you to all the partners from Circle, but from 11 Labs, from Cloudflare. Hopefully, they will continue to support us. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and chat to me, chat to the team. We're going to see a lot of each other for the next 48 hours. So I'm excited to see that. Tomorrow, we're going to have pitches. So we're going to have everybody that wants to pitch, and hopefully you all do, come on stage. We'll record it, we'll stream it, we'll share it with hundreds of thousands of people. Your apps are going to go on lablab.ai, where you have millions of people viewing those applications on a daily basis. If you haven't done it yet, go and see the tutorial how to get started with Arc. There's an open source GitHub there for you to fork if you have any issues on implementing the final stretches before you submit. So that's all there available for you. And I'd like to invite to the stage Corey, say a few words about the technology and kind of why Circle is supporting this community so well.
Thank you, Power. Hello, everyone. I'm Corey Cooper, our lead DevRel at Circle. First, I want to thank everybody who took the time to come in person, especially this early in the morning on a Saturday when you could be doing a million other things. Also, too, virtually, everybody who's here virtually, we appreciate you all joining the first hackathon for ARC. So we're really appreciative. ARC has been a long time coming. There was a huge effort amongst everybody who worked at Circle to launch this chain on testnet. And so we want to just, we just appreciate any builder taking the time around the world to actually build with us in testnet. We're going to learn a lot from you all. Please give feedback. We welcome it. Already receiving feedback on bugs and things that you all have identified. So be blunt with your feedback too, because we want to respond very quickly and make sure your building experience is amazing. One, I want to identify team members from Circle who are here. So if anybody has any questions, Circlers, can you raise your hands real quick? So these are all the Circlers who can support over the next 48 hours for the hackathon. And now I'll just kind of talk a little bit about ARC and why this is an important piece of infrastructure that we believe is a great complement to AI. About 2 years ago, internally, we started to talk about the idea of agents making payments. And so what we saw quickly online was a lot of developers started tinkering with the idea of using stablecoins and AI agents to transact. There were a lot of early projects that were SDKs that were released. That one of them, Goat, was one that blew up. It was really big. Shout out to CrossMit, their team. They helped put that together and show what was possible with using agents to make payments with USDC. One thing we wanted to see when ARC launched was how could ARC be like one of the best places for a developer to settle agent-to-agent payments, on chain. And so there were a lot of design decisions that we made with ARC that make this experience pretty seamless for developers who are using USDC to do agent-to-agent payments. One of them is USDC is a native gas token. So you spin up an agent, you deposit funds in the agent's wallet. You don't have to worry about finding an additional network token to be able to pay for gas. The other is one thing about USDC and EURC, which is the other stable coin that Circle issues, is these are the most regulated stable coins that any developer can access, in the ecosystem right now. And so we kind of pride ourselves off of making sure we have regulatory clarity across different regions of the world. And we provide the best version of a stable coin from a reserve perspective, transparency and compliance perspective to developers building, because if you're building financial products, you want to make sure your base layer is strong. And so that's another thing about ARC. You have two digital currencies that, you know, have very strong regulatory compliance rules built around them to be able to use these to interop with the traditional finance system. The other are primitives like cross-chain transfer protocol and gateway that come out of the box as well with ARC. And so this gives you the ability in this multi-chain world where there's other blockchain networks that are doing great things. You have the ability to access those chains by way of ARC using our interoperable protocols that we built. So we're very excited just to see what, you know, you all build, learn from you all, but also, you know, get a lot of feedback and add additional tools, libraries, SDKs that can make your building experience better. For you all to kind of rough it out and build directly on the base layer of a new chain, I know that's a lot. It's a lot of work. And again, I appreciate you all taking the time out of your day, your life, to actually, you know, build with us in the first hackathon for ARC. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Corey. And now I would like to give you a short workshop on how to actually submit your project so we all go smooth by 6:30 p.m. New York time. So let me just pull up the screen with the LabLab website and show you a little bit around. Let me just do that quickly. Okay. Just 1 second. Okay. Let's make it full screen. So if you are here already with us, I hope everybody who is here registered successfully to the hackathon. If not, the first step would be to simply go to lablab.ai, click a hackathons, and we've got a whole page about the AI agents on ARC hackathon. Why doesn't it pull up? Oh, let me refresh the page. Give me 1 second. Could I ask the venue lady to help me a little bit because the screen sharing does not work properly?
Oh, okay. It doesn't screen.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll ask.
Oh, okay. Now it's working. Okay. Now everything is fine. So this is the yeah, it took some time to pull it up. So this is the site with all the details regarding the hackathon. Before you submit the project, what I recommend is to read this all carefully, especially the challenge section. All of your submissions need to use ARC, and this is totally mandatory for every single submission. It's quite obvious, taking from the hackathon name, but yeah, remember about that. And also when you submit the projects, it would be great if you could, to make it easier to the judges, describe carefully how you implemented ARC to your solution. If you need any support with the resources, you've got the section Technology and Access with all the useful links listed to actually learn from. We've also got the workshops for you that you can watch. They are all pinned on the site. And also the tech pages that you can simply click on and check out. So highly recommend that. I believe most of you already did that. If not, it's just a thing to do right now. And now let me lead you on how to actually submit your project. Here, you've got the hackathon submission process video, so you can always watch the tutorial if you have any questions. And for the on-site participants in here, I'm always available to help you. The deadline to submit is 6:30 p.m. ET. So I recommend to start submitting, to actually pull up the submission page like 1 or 2 hours before. to make sure everything goes smoothly. So I have here the button Create or Join a Team because I already clicked Enroll button that used to be here and filled out the registration form. So this is mandatory to actually be approved to then submit your project. Once you are approved, you'll be able to submit your solution. So I clicked on the Create or Join the Team button, and I already set up my team. Later, I'll also show you how to set up the team or join the team. But maybe let's try the submissions. I've got the test team Joanna set up in here, and I just click on the team page. Here, you've got a very important button, Submit Your Project. So, and also a counter with the time left to submit. So in order to submit your solution, you simply need to click it and fill out all the spaces in here. So you need to give your submission a title, a short description, and a long description. So make sure to put here all the information, what your project is about, how you implemented Arc, and if you used any other technologies, you can also use this information in here. And you'll be able to add the categories that best fit your project. So if you start typing down the category, for example, they start popping up. For example, mental health, you can add it. So it will be then easier for the judges to navigate with your submissions. Then you need to select the technologies that you have used. So for sure, you used Arc. If you use other technologies, like for example, Cloudflare Workers AI, that is also powering up this hackathon, you simply need to put them up in here. And we'll go to the next step. You'll need to upload the cover image for your presentation, upload the video presentation, and the slides presentation. So the video presentation should be maximum 5 minutes. So include them all the important information about your project. And yeah, make sure it's no more than 5 minutes. And the slide presentation, so it's then easier for the judges to quickly navigate. Then you've got a space in here to pull up your GitHub repository. Very important thing, make sure that the link is open and it's working correctly before you submit, because if the judges cannot then open that, that will be a problem. So make sure to double check it's working. Then you can pull here the demo application URL. And if there is any additional information you'd like to include, you'll include it here. And once you fill out all the information, the submit button will be active, so you can submit your solution. If you'd like to edit your submission later, you can click Save and Get Back. And you'll see here that your project is submitted. If you'd like to edit anything, just click on the Submit Project button, edit all the information you filled out. Next step, and click Submit once again, so your submission will be updated. Then, if it comes to actually registering to the hackathon, if you did not do that yet, let's pull up, for example, some other hackathon that we've got in here. Let's go to this step, Create or Join a Team. The steps are the same. I click Create or Join a new team. So an important information, teams can be from 1 to 6 people in total. So even if you're hacking solo, just make sure to create a 1-person team. So we're clicking the button, Create a Team. Let's put whatever in here, just for the sake of testing, and wherever in here. And yeah, if you're looking for team members, just make sure to toggle this button. If you're hacking by yourself, you can leave it empty. Yeah, my description is a little bit too long. And you can upload the cover image of your team. And you click Create a Team, and your team is created. So here, this is just another hackathon page. You'll have the Submit button active. So if you'd like to add the teammates, simply click in here. And an important information, the team leader is the person who sets up the team itself. So the team leader will be able to submit the project. So just, navigate to the lablab platform easily right now, check if everything is working for you. And if you have any questions, feel free to approach me, the circlers. and Pavel. Anytime, we're here all the time to support you. And one more reminder, the submission deadline is 6:30 p.m. ET today. Also, on lablab.ai, we've got the Discord server. So make sure you're up there, because online mentors are also available all the time to support you. So what you do is simply you go to the channel associated with the AI agents on Arc with USDC hackathon. You use the tag mentor, and they will get notified immediately that somebody needs help, and they'll do their best to answer you anytime. For the on-site people, we are here to support you. So simply approach us, and we'll try to help you at our best. And regarding some important dates for this hackathon, so yeah, right now Corey and Pavel will have a quick chat on stage that you'll be able to listen to. And after that, you simply focus on building. Submit your solution, and then you will have for the on-site team additional 1.5 hours for networking, for just meeting each other. And if it comes to tomorrow, we're at the same address, and we'll open the doors at 8:30 a.m. and we're open till 8 p.m. And all the on-site people who are here with us will be able to pitch their projects. So I walk around and check who would like to pitch their projects live. So also record all the pitches to then distribute to you, so you've got it for the books. We'd also love to amplify the project. So yeah, prep for pitching 10 a.m. tomorrow. And later, if you'd like to hear some live feedback from the judges and mentors, they will also be available in here to give you more feedback on your solutions. And at the end of the day, we'll have the winners announcement also streamed live. And everybody, no matter if they are coding on-site or online, will have equal chances to win. So that is all on my side. And I'd like to invite Corey, Cooper, and Pavel Czech back on the stage to have a quick chat about Arc. And the stage is yours.
Thank you. Give it a sec. We need a third chair.
We need a third chair. Okay.
Because we want.
Let me bring it.
Do you know where it is? I can bring it. I'll let everybody introduce themselves, and we'll do a separate segment, and we'll just talk a little bit about why blockchain, why decentralization, why stablecoins are important for the new AI economy. Yeah, from your personal perspectives, and just kind of give people on the stream globally here at the event a little bit of context, not only about the technical side of it, but also why is it important for social reasons, why it's important for you personally. Yeah. So yeah, my name is Pavel Czech. I'm the CEO of Natively. Could you do a quick intro?
Yeah. Hello. Yep. Corey Cooper, lead DevRel at Circle, and I've been at Circle for 5 years. And so, one of the things I feel like that's super important right now is this intersection between blockchain and AI, focus more on agentic commerce. And so, Circle just recently launched ARC, which is a layer 1 EVM compatible blockchain. One of our major use cases is agentic commerce. And so we believe that there's going to be a future where a lot of the payments that happen over the internet will be happening with agents. And we want that to happen with USDC and hopefully over ARC, which has a lot of characteristics and attributes about it that make settlement a little bit more clear.
Hey, I'm Bhushat. I work on AI R&D at Circle, and I'm tremendously excited that you're all here, and also about the future of like intersection of AI and blockchain. I think the reason blockchain stable coins become very important for AI agents is programmability. Like prior to blockchain, you couldn't program money. Like moving money was extremely difficult. And where AI plays a role is we as humans do transactions like handful times a day, like maybe 3 times to 5 times. But AI agents can do like tens of thousands of times. And XOR2 is a prime example for that. That's not just the only protocol, but there is others. I think the ecosystem is very rapidly growing in this space and still very early. But another aspect of blockchain which I really like is you get auditability and transparency, which is very important. It doesn't have to come at the cost of privacy, which is where ARC comes in. It allows you to have private transactions in an auditable fashion. So that kind of predictable, like AI agents would generally have no predictability, but balancing that with like money is very important. And that's where the intersection plays a very nice role, in my opinion.
That's exactly what I was hoping, for you guys to also share is some of the core principles that you believe guide the technology forward, right? So for me, on my personal side, the core principle is about democratizing access. And it's really, this concept of universal basic ownership. Yeah. So the equalization of opportunity is what drives the adoption of this technology in such a fast way, right? And this is why I believe we're seeing such leaps in terms of, how fast new models are being adopted, new frameworks like agentic frameworks have been adopted. And now the collision of artificial intelligence and blockchain technology will drive extremely fast adoption. So being first is very important, right? So, and if you can get in and like Circle is providing ARC at basically to everybody without limitation, no boundaries there. So it's very close to my heart to see a very big company, a multi-billion-dollar company going out and saying, okay, we are offering this opportunity regardless of where you're from, what's your background, what's your social economical standing, whether you are in New York, whether you're outside of New York. So I believe that sticking to those principles will guide adoption. So I'm curious whether you've seen that from the community, from the team, also at Circle, what are the guiding principles inside your teams, the whole company, but also in the community?
Yeah, we've seen that. So one thing that we want to can everyone hear me?
Maybe a little bit closer.
Oh, is it off?
Yeah.
Hello.
Do this.
It's off.
It's off. Try to take. Yeah.
On the street.
Hello.
Test.
Okay. Kind of like the guiding principles. And so we learned a lot from USDC. And so when we put USDC out into the world, one of the first use cases we saw was dollar access. So it was giving people an opportunity to now have something equivalent to a dollar bank account, because anyone could spin up a private public key pair on a blockchain and store USDC in a wallet, and it would be kind of comparable to them having like cash, on their phone. And so, from kind of seeing how that spread it naturally, organically, based off of people, wanting to have better savings technology. We felt that there was more work to do at the base layer to remove certain friction points based off of people wanting to use blockchain technology for basically bank accounts. And so one of those things was, okay, like, how do we make this feel like what they're used to feeling like when they transact in traditional finance? And gas fees are designed to basically mitigate the risk of a blockchain being spammed. And so we wanted to make sure like we didn't get rid of gas, but how could we design it in a way where someone who's transacting with USDC can feel like they're transacting in the traditional world with dollars in their bank account? And so coupling the gas with the actual token was something we wanted to make sure we designed in a way where it just reduced that friction or eliminated it basically altogether. And so being able to release this new chain ARC and have the gas be USDC, the token be USDC, really is going to help accelerate the adoption and the democratization of finance across the world. And so very excited to kind of see that. The decentralization component is super important. The reason why is because, like, Bashir mentioned, programmability is like super important. I think that's the game changer. If you're talking to someone, why would someone, build with Web 2, technology versus Web 3 when it comes to financials? It's the programmability aspect. And so since it's an open EVM compatible chain, anybody can deploy their own smart contract and design logic around, the stable coins that we deploy on ARC and build these very complex transaction flows that I think can be very dynamic for the financial industry and people as well who leverage these financial services.
I totally agree that those guiding principles, that we mentioned, then impact actual product decisions, right? Because it's not the other way around, actually, right? It's not that you make these product decisions and then take a step back. No, you first establish the guiding principles, and then from those, you make sure that the technology fulfills the requirements of those principles. So I really like that approach. I'm wondering, on the AI front, right? One of the things you mentioned is that agents and AI systems are able and capable of running, extremely rapid transactions. And one of the biggest challenges that I've noticed on a global scale is that the cost of these transactions in the API, let's say, world, in the call world, right, to AI systems, is prohibitive. And I believe that one of our goals together as a community should be to drive the cost of the transaction to such a low level that it becomes, almost something that you never think about. So I'm wondering, how are you approaching that from a technical perspective, addressing using ARC and USDC for multiple rapid transactions where, agents are doing hundreds of thousands and millions of transactions?
Yeah, I'll address, like, I guess the first part and pass it over to Rashid for a second. I think one, the consensus engine built in ARC is built off of Malachite. So Malachite is a consensus engine where it's Tendermint basically rewritten in Rust. And the team that built it, they were experimenting of what consensus engine that had very low latency combined with the EVM execution layer could look like. And they basically combine like Reth, which is a Rust version of EVM client on the execution layer with Malachite. And they saw like really, really great responses from just low latent, high throughput transactions, being able to be processed at scale, and wanted to kind of see, could they design something that would be comparable to what you see with Visa being able to do like 100, 200,000 transactions per second. And so our consensus engine is very robust to be able to handle agentic transactions at scale. And so, and then you couple it with, when you bring transactions on chain, the cost of those transactions tremendously goes down. And then also to coupled with the way we, like I said, the way we like designed our consensus engine compared with the execution layer, it gives us the ability to optimize for one block confirmations that are sub-second. So so those things kind of, the way we design Arc make it, designed to handle these agentic payments at scale. But I'll pass it over to Rashid, and he can kind of talk about some other aspects as well.
And just before you start, this is a very technical conversation, which is great for this room, which I really love. And also, we don't always get to have time together with the top tier technical providers to actually take a deeper dive, right? And answer these questions from, again, a guiding principles perspective that impact the design and actual development and delivery layer for the individual developer, and then ultimately that define the user experience, right? So I just wanted to say that I'm really appreciating kind of that level of detail as well. So it's really great to hear, and I hope you guys will then have some questions in the room after we kind of get this. I'll pass on the mic and anybody can ask a question, so you can have a little bit of time to think about what the question is, and then we can have a small Q&A if that's okay.
Yeah.
But go ahead, please tell us about, agent to agent, rapid transaction, cost of transaction, and your way of thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Corey already painted a great picture, took a good technical dive on that. I'll start and build on top of that, right? So we have, like with Arc, we have already taken the fundamental and given instant finality and L1 level. And the thing which was possible even before Arc, before blockchains, I couldn't send 0.01 cent, like 100th of a cent to someone. It's just impossible because of the fees. And that just cannot be done on traditional rails. And what we are seeing now, a lot of the payments done by agents are micro payments, even nano payments, maybe. So like what blockchain gives us is at the same fee, you can move very tiny to very large transactions. It's not percentage based anymore. That changes the game altogether. And one of the things which R gives us as an L1 is instant finality without any roll up. The other thing which we are seeing and which we are working on is something called Gateway, which is our product, and integrating that into micropayments. And the reason is, if you want to do a 0.00001 transaction, you don't want to pay gas on it. So what we have done is we are going to release something on testnet, which we have announced is called Gateway Batching, and that will integrate with X402, and we will extend it to other protocols as well. The way it works is you initiate one transaction into the smart contract and have a balance there, and then you can have many micro transactions on top of it batched together, and then we'll periodically settle that transactions onto the blockchain. So you still get instant settlement to a certain extent. The batching becomes the instant settlement portion, but you get guarantee that your transaction will be passed on to the whoever you're sending the money to, the recipient. And it can be very, very small without paying any gas. And that opens a whole new paradigm of being able to do things which you couldn't do before. So it's a whole new area, whole new economy we are developing on that front, which is personally what I'm really excited about.
So absolutely, it is the AI economy, and it is the ability to settle a security layer, deciding on what's real when AI produces it, or it's whether there's human in the loop. you can almost think about the watermark of reality. Yeah. And whether that's a transaction or whether that's any interaction between agents, it can be stored on chain if there's a settlement connected to it, if it's a financial component. So I'm very excited about all the use cases that are coming from this. So yeah, we'll open it up to the room. Yeah, if anybody would like to ask a question, we will be happy to answer. And we'll take maybe 3, 4, 5 questions max. And then I have a last question for you, and then we'll finish up. Super good.
Hi guys, I'm pretty excited to be here. One of the biggest questions in all finance is asking is, when does Circle become the next Visa? How does that look like for you guys? It seems very obvious that that's the direction it's going. So I'm pretty excited to hear if there's already a plan internally about a Circle card, so we could escape the hell that is MasterCard and Visa. What are your thoughts on that?
So we're not going to become the next Visa. Visa is one of our partners, and so what Circle is focused on is building the strongest base layer technology at the protocol level of a blockchain to be able to give companies like Visa access to design card products that interface with our stablecoin, as well as now our blockchain arc, to be able to handle, using blockchain as the base layer database for storage of money and money movement. One trend that we're seeing that is really blowing up, especially in the APAC region, is a lot of startups are launching. Like one of them is called Cast. They are launching these card products where you're able to issue, Visa issued debit cards or credit cards that actually map back to a actual non-custodial wallet, and use that wallet basically as the funding mechanism of funding transactions that you make with your Visa card. And so even MetaMask, they launched their card product as well. It's doing pretty well as well. So that's a trend. And so majority of these card products, they're using USDC as the priority token of choice to fund basically these dollar transactions that are going through their authorization, flows or whatever, to fund those transactions. Yeah.
No. Let's get this question and then we'll come back.
Okay.
Dave, thanks for being here, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Great to meet you both.
Pleasure.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
How does validation work on the ARC network? Meaning, what would proof of stake look like if it's not 32 ETH?
So right now we have a small validation network. It's permissioned. So basically there's a few companies that we're working with that handle our validation. And so obviously there are certain things I can't actually kind of expand on what the requirements of those validator requirements, but we basically have a proof of authority approach, which you can read about in our light paper around how we handle validation. There is a future roadmap to expanding that network of validators, but right now there's not much I can kind of disclose on where we're going to go with that. But it does not, proof authority obviously is different than the proof of stake, and how validators handle that in the Ethereum ecosystem with staking 32 ETH. Like we don't do that. Yeah. Proof of authority. Yeah. So if you go to our ARC network website, there's a light paper and you can read up on the proof of authority, approach. Yeah.
Hey, so the second part to that question, given that there is substantially cost savings to send $1 million or $10 million across the sea, partnering with Visa seems like counterintuitive at that point, because they're still charging 3 or 5% to the merchants. So the ethos of like how originally Bitcoin started 12 years ago when I was mining was the idea to get away from the financial institutions, but it just seems like we're being swallowed. What's your thoughts on that?
I think these companies, they have their own business models. I think we're not in the business of kind of like dictating or trying to influence how they handle their business models or financials. Our focus here is just giving them the best technology to move money. And so I really don't have an answer for you on like what they should be doing around their financial models when it comes to how they charge, per transaction. But I would like to reiterate, like, we are enabling these companies to leverage basically a new base layer infrastructure for more efficient money movement.
So,
yeah.
So maybe not speaking for Circle, right? But just on a general comment on the state of the industry, right? NVIDIA, as a great example, has outperformed the market in terms of chip production and delivery. And there's a great saying, which is their profit is our opportunity. So I think that this applies to all business models, always, whether that's Google, whether that's payment providers. So I think that's part of the work that's in front of us in this hackathon, and then moving forward, building actual companies that use this base layer technology, is to create products that address this issue on a global level. And the market is actually going bigger, bigger, and bigger. So there's enough room for the incumbent players to still introduce new layers and new services, and completely new players to emerge ground up and take profit and take the opportunity where incumbents are seeking to maximize profit. And in the end, that benefits the end consumer and the end user, right? So that's what we should be searching for. That's what I'm searching for. That's what a lot of people, starting startups are searching for. And because we have a completely new layer of AI technology, we can outperform and outpace incumbent players that will take half a year, 2 years to introduce, for example, agent-to-agent payments on a global scale, which, coming out of this room at the end of today, we will have probably 100 solutions that will already have that technology built in. And then it's a question of go-to-market scaling, going after that profit. So I think your question rather says that there's a big opportunity, which doesn't mean that the pie isn't growing bigger, bigger, and bigger, right? So that's the two things are true at the same time.
I appreciate both of you guys from Circle for being here. I want to know a little bit about the roadmap, whether or not you guys are going to open up validator participation, or you're going to set up some governance frameworks. What are we looking at as we look into the next 18 months or so?
I can say no comment.
Yeah,
and
I
can't
comment on the validator roadmap, unfortunately. Yeah. So yeah, there's not much I can say about the validator roadmap. I know a lot of people have interest in becoming validators early on, but there's not much I can say right now, to be honest.
What are you thinking at that
time? Right now, yeah, right now there's not much I can share at all, to be honest with you. I apologize though, but
let's take it. Let's continue the conversation offline as well. See where it takes us.
Yeah.
What about the flip side? Public governance, also NDA under.
Right. Yeah, I can't mention anything around that. So, but thanks for the question.
So just on top of that question about the roadmap, can you just lay out the roadmap for ARC for next 18 months? What's the plan? I mean, if you can share some details.
Yeah, for ARC.
One question on the cost side in terms of transaction. Mm-hmm. You mentioned microtransactions. Is there any documentation available on microtransactions, etc.?
So I'll start with that and then pass it over to Bashir. So ARC roadmap in general. So right now, we are really trying to get a lot of feedback from builders. So we partnered with Labs and 2 other hackathon providers to actually get ourselves in the rooms with builders like you all, right, and get feedback and continue to learn and figure out what tools and libraries that we need to expand on to make it easier for developers to transact with Arc. Also, too, as we're planning to launch mainnet in 2026, so that's when we plan to launch mainnet. After launching mainnet, we will potentially open up private beta for our privacy protocol for Arc. So those are kind of like the big things that we're focused on. So right now it's like building the builder ecosystem, working with labs, doing hackathons around the world, getting feedback, and then optimizing our tooling providers, whether it's tools that we build internally to make it easier to interact or work with other tooling providers in the ecosystem that are third party to help them, optimize their tools for interacting with our chain, and then, going to mainnet in 2026, and then opening up the privacy protocol stuff for private beta. Yeah. And then we should talk more about.
Yeah, for microtransactions, we have a proposal out to integrate it with X402. So what Gateway does is it allows you to batch things and separate the authorization from settlement. So then you are able to deposit something into Gateway contract, and you can do that from any chain. If you do it from Arc, the benefit is within instant finality. Within one block, you can deposit money into the Gateway smart contract, and then after that, mint issued microtransactions on any chain, and then you can batch them together, and that would also save you like tons of gas.
Hey, what's up, guys? Happy Saturday. Happy to be here. My main question is, you guys kind of answered it slightly in regards to like the RWAs and like the tokenization. But, when I'm looking at it, we're programming money now, so it's like, it could really be anything. So what I'm looking for, I love the fact that we could settle in USDC. That really does make all the change, in all honesty, going from like XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then having to convert it into a stable coin. My question is, we're able to program everything, compliance, risks, automation features for RWA projects like myself. I'm tokenizing energy. So we have now, like you guys mentioned, the AI agents, like AI-driven whitelist management, anomaly detection, circuit breakers, that move beyond the basic like KYC and AML protocols that a lot of the businesses are able to, utilize now. I think it was the compliance engine that you have on Circle. I know that's in beta. Is that like your future enhancements for what you guys are going to be doing within that area for tokenization for RWAs?
All the hard
Yeah.
questions.
No, great question. So the short answer is no. Compliance engine is not going to be on the roadmap for the tokenization part. It was a product that we put out there to make it easy for developers to understand really quickly, if a wallet that they were interacting with was compromised or not, right? But we found out that there's a lot more to compliance. There's a lot of more advanced features and functionality that developers were looking to build for, and there are other companies that we saw, in the space that are doing some great things as it pertains to like on-chain compliance, and also mirroring it with off-chain data as well. So our compliance engine API endpoint is kind of like limited. It's really only for just checking to make sure like this wallet that you're interacting from your infrastructure is not on like a list of wallet addresses that have been compromised, from basically sorting this information from an aggregated list of companies that watch for this information on chain. But the more advanced level stuff, there are other companies in the space that are doing some great things, and we rather, you know, developers kind of like, if they need to get advanced level compliance stuff, to use those and couple it with ARC and USDC. Yeah.
We're going to take, I think, 3 more questions. That's it. Yeah, because we could have the guys up on stage for, I think, a day, but they are available for you today, tomorrow, you know, probably going to take a lunch break as well at some point. Yeah. So, yeah, but please go ahead.
My question might sound a little bit dumb, but coming from a technical standpoint, but I know it's always about like scaling like Circle and ARC, but what do you guys want to see built on the ecosystem besides agents and to help scale Circle and ARC?
Yeah.
So maybe you can repeat the question because
yeah. So his question was, what do we want to see built, right, in the ecosystem to help scale ARC and Circle, right? That was a really good question. So I think you know, the short answer is we want to see projects that bring businesses and consumers on chain without them even knowing. And so, you know, I say that like that because the minute, you know, your project introduces a lot of the blockchain stuff in the UI and UX, it loses a lot of, you know, users because they get confused. So we would like to see projects that have blockchain in the background and very amazing UXs on the front end, and you're just really using USDC or Circle's other technology and blockchain of ARC in the background as a way to move value, but your end users don't even know. And because those are the projects that I've seen that have just like scaled the usage of blockchain. I'll give you one project that, you know, has done a great job, you know, is the World app. You know, they've scaled the usage of World Chain through the World app, and, you know, the way the app works, you know, people who don't know anything about blockchain can actually get in there, create a wallet, not know it's a wallet, on ramp, and transact and not even know, just by great UX and mobile friendliness. So I guess if you want me to dive into a couple of use cases, I can. You know, like one thing that we're excited about is like things like companies like Denari. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they tokenize U.S. stocks and equities. They're an amazing company doing great things with emerging fintech companies in, like, you know, the African APAC region who want to get exposure to the U.S. equities market. So that's a big area. So and then obviously, you know, cross-border payments for businesses is very big. And then a lot of the agentic, you know, commerce stuff where it's, you know, using basically, you know, reason and logic to make decisions for businesses on how they need to invest their money. So, you know, I love to see, like, you know, companies like be able to, you know, spin up a bunch of agents that are CFOs and controllers, and they can do all this crazy cool stuff, you know, leveraging ARC and USDC to actually move money around and make financial decisions. Yeah.
So just to chime in on that, so on the use cases, to break the flow here a little bit, we're in New York, right? You can imagine that you'll have a two-sided marketplace for pizza slices, and getting them kind of you know, on the go, or a cup of coffee, and that cup of coffee can come with a movie ticket, right? And that sort of transaction doesn't happen today because the cost is prohibitive, and you don't know what are the free seats in the theater next to the coffee that you're getting, which today should not really be a limitation, but nobody has come up with that. Yeah, that's a very simple use case that I believe can generate a few $1 million of revenue, and then you can scale that business from there. And then there's 1,000+ different examples like this, right, that you could build instantaneously. So I'm a firm believer in actually that pizza getting bigger, bigger, and bigger, and more people being able to get a slice of the market. Yeah. So I'm a firm believer in these smaller AI native teams building the use cases that are driven by their subject matter expertise or something that drives them locally. Good example is access to US equities and stock. Yeah, that's a very local challenge in African countries or Southeast Asian countries. The pizza slice market or the coffee cup market and the movie theater market in New York, that's another completely separate issue. And the crazy bit is it's the same technology, right? And you can effectively build that in a week, get that live, very likely tokenize it, as well. So release a utility-driven token, use USDC as the settlement layer, and use Arc as the blockchain that you use as the system of record and transparency. Yeah, this was not possible a week ago or 2 weeks ago because Arc wasn't live. Yeah, and this wasn't possible 2 months ago. So I would kind of focus on delivering very quickly new use cases that are available to you, and launching businesses and launching AI native startups as fast as possible and solving these problems as fast as possible, because today is the number one place to do it, where we're here in the hack in New York and globally. So that's kind of the use case answer from my side.
Yeah.
Last question.
Yeah. Hi, I have a question regarding fraud. I guess with increase of digital commerce also comes an increase in fraud. So how are we sort of like figuring out how to combat agentic fraud? And have you guys just put any principles or standards to like work around that? Because if I get an agent calling me that's talking the same way as my banker, for sure, I'll be able to give them my details, right? So yeah, just curious to figure out what you guys are thinking on that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I do want to mention before Bashir answers the question, the Ethereum Foundation actually put together a team to, I can't remember the proposal, but I'll get it for you. 8004. Yeah. Those proposal numbers give me all the time. But anyway, it is around basically reputations for agents, and having a registry of reputations for all the agents that are interacting on chain. And so there's a huge push for developers in the ecosystem to participate in this proposal and sharing insight, working with the team. So I encourage you to kind of get involved in that community because it's growing rapidly, because the issue you just raised is something that everybody's thinking about, reputational risk with agents. So check out that Ethereum proposal, and then I'll let Bashir kind of add to.
Yeah, Corey already partly answered the question. I think it's very early in the ecosystem right now. We are building all these foundational layers. We have just figured out how to do like low cost micropayments. I think reputational mechanics is another problem. And discovery is one more, which is being worked on right now. I think as these foundational building blocks come together, it'll lay out enough of the things for us to build amazing applications on top of. I think one thing to add is a lot of fraud happens also because of like chargebacks. And one of the things which blockchain allows you to have no chargebacks. Everything is instantly settled. It's final. There is no reversibility. So that itself is like a feature which helps AI agents, or in general transactions which are supposed to be which you don't really need chargebacks for. That's one. And second is what Corey mentioned. We will soon see more reputational mechanics come online, how agents can have outcome verification. How do you actually rate other agents? and that'll solve lot of core fundamental problems regarding that.
So I definitely just to chime on that. I definitely see a huge opportunity with security deployment and applications. So the answer is build something that prevents that process and build a business or a use case around that, because I think where some of the big things have already been addressed, and there are big companies working on things. There's again 1,000 different applications that big companies are not really addressing. Whether that agent that calls you is actually your banker or not, and whether you're using your encryption security through blockchain to verify whether that call is real, whether that transaction is real, and as it is recorded on chain, right? What are the implications of having it tracked, securitized, right? Insured. You could now provide an insurance product for an instant settlement of big transactions, right? Which wasn't possible in the past. And apply AI to actually identify whether the transaction is watermarked for the human in the loop interaction, right? Again, that watermark of reality. I think I'm very excited about. So it would be very cool to see those security use cases. I think that's going to be a very powerful narrative in blockchain and AI in that collision or that collaboration, because it's now going from a collision to a real collaboration and empowerment. So thank you very much for the panel. Amazing questions from the audience. I really appreciate it. You guys are going to get swamped after this, with everybody. But that's why we're all here. Give it up for the team. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So there are two other members from our team here. Anthony Kalani. He has a lot of experience in building very robust multi-agent systems that need to scale and work for Fortune 500 companies. So he can like walk you through the pain points of that. Blessing as well. His background, he actually came from an AI company over to Circle. So has a lot of experience in AI development as well. He focuses mainly on our protocol level tech. So like gateway and CCTP are the things that he focuses on at the company. So if you have any questions around agents interacting with gateway or CCTP, like he's a good resource too. Yeah. Oh, my guy from Boofy.
Hi guys, just arrived from the airport. Super excited to be here.
Yes.
I wanted to ask about native forex rates on Arc, how that is going to operate with CPN. I'm just going to send a link here on the WhatsApp group. It's how competitive the landscape is for forex rates in Argentina. You don't only have like 4 different types of dollars. There's now a 5th one, which is crypto dollars. And every fintech is competing on getting the best offer for people, and which is a new market. So I'm thinking about this because if there's going to be forex rates natively on Arc, how competitive are those going to be on the spread in order to provide better forex rates for people in Argentina?
Repeat the question again. So you said something about CPN network too. Can you repeat?
So I'm curious because if Arc is going to have native forex rates for exchanging,
yes,
maybe you can explain that. Is that related to CPN? Is that how you guys are going to pull that off? And if how competitive will the spreads be for for potential users or fintechs that want to offer that to the public?
Okay, gotcha. So as far as the we are going to release native FX on chain, right? And so your question is, will that be using CPN, right? No, it will not be using CPN, but there are still some design decisions we're making internally or whatever. So I'll have to get back to you on that question as far as, that. And then the other one was about the competitive rates, right? We're going to kind of compete as much as possible with, FX that is happening off chain. can't really go too much into detail on just, how competitive it will be right now, because, we haven't launched it in testnet just yet. So I can probably, we can have a follow-up meeting to discuss that. I can connect you with the right PM if you wanted to get more details around like the FX rates. But we are releasing basically on-chain FX, and we'll have other stable coins on ARC. And one of the reasons why we're doing this is because a lot of companies that were looking at using us for cross-chain or cross-border payments or remittances, that last mile part was really the tough part. So it's like, okay, I send USDC, to the recipient that's in another country, but they still need to convert it into their local currency and off-ramp it into fiat in a bank account. And that part right there kind of is a lot of friction. And it really kind of defeats the purpose of like this cross-border payment flow. And so one of the things we started to see globally is as USDC became bigger and bigger, there were a lot of players in other global markets who wanted to launch stable coins tethered to local currencies in their market. And that became more and more of a actual use case. And so with ARC, we were like, well, why don't we really kind of make this a home for other stable coins and other currencies? And then also too, why don't we have an on-chain FX engine so that this entire end-to-end flow, right, could happen on ARC. So someone could go from US dollars to USDC to Brazilian real, through the FX engine, and then Brazilian real, a stablecoin version of Brazilian real, and then off ramp into basically their fiat based bank account. And so that's kind of the vision that we kind of see, as we bring the on chain FX engine to ARC, as well as the other stable coin currencies. But great question, and I'll have to get back to you on some of those answers with the PM. All right.
So once again, the question and some other questions show that there's completely new markets that are just evolving and just being created because of the technology enables that to happen. Yeah, and that market can be the FX market in Argentina. Could it be the pizza slice and coffee cup market here in New York? So it's really about where you can apply your personal expertise and knowledge, or where you see the gap in the market. That could be the energy market, right, and real world assets. It could be any other crazy idea, right? Mm-hmm. And hopefully we'll see you pitching them on stage tomorrow. Thank you once again. Yeah. It was a very productive session, very technical. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that we get this community interacting, being able to ask difficult questions and have very knowledgeable people from our partners to actually answer the questions in a long form fashion. Yeah. So without turning this into a podcast, we have to finish. Thank you for this session right now. Get back to hacking. Let us know any questions. The schedule is there. Please make sure to make your submissions. Please make sure to finish up. We're all in a tight timeline here, right? Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks.
Okay, we can wrap up.
You guys are getting very, no